Alright people, we are back at the EVICE Auto, in which today's video is all about flow and pressure of this cordless pressure washer, which is the Karcher K2 battery and the Ryobi 36V cordless pressure washer. So first of all, I have to say that this video is just a replica of the original video made by the YouTuber Obsessed Garage. I leave in the description the original link to the video, and also I leave you in the description his web store, in which you can find everything on this table, from the nozzles to the gun to the connectors, everything. And this is a disclaimer, I'm not being paying for anyone, I just bought this with my own money, and the aim of this video is that Obsessed Garage just made recently a spec sheet about every, well, not everyone, but a lot of pressure washers in the market. So you can know how much noisy they are, how much pressure they deliver, the flow, etc, etc. So the only way for those cordless pressure washer to be included in such a list is by making myself the same test as he did. Moreover, otherwise these machines never would be included in such a list, because they don't deliver the same specs as a higher end pressure washer. So I've got here on the table some plastic bottles. Every one of them has a name on it. For example, this is the Ryobi original OEM, the Ryobi OEM and the boost mode, Karcher with the rotary nozzle, Karcher with the normal lance, and then once I finish with the OEM specs, I will be upgrading with a better hose and a better gun and a better nozzles. I will be testing again the Ryobi, the Karcher, and just for the fun, I also will be testing the HydroJet from WORX, which is this machine, the little machine here, that it claims to deliver up to 325 psi, I think. We will test that. And this is the MTM 50 feet hose that I will be also using. Right. So starting from the nozzles, I think. So here we've got some MTM nozzles, which they are different in sizes. Those are 40-degree nozzles. For example, this one is a 40-degree 4.0 nozzle, right? As an example, this will be used, for example, in Karcher K2 pressure washer. And then you go down 3.5, 3.0, 2.5 and 2.0. My guess is that this cordless pressure washer will be using between 3.0 and 2.0. We will see that. Depending on the pressure, we can measure the pressure with the gauge. I've got two gauges here. I've got this gauge up to 3000 psi for the Karcher and the Ryobis, and this one up to 500 psi just exclusively for the WORX. These are the connectors I need for the Karcher, and this is the Mosmatic gun with quick connects. The test that we can sort it out right now is the noise test. So this is a sound meter. So basically the test is that you stay yourself 5 meters away, or about 15 feet, and for example you test in here I test the Karcher. As you can tell, when running is about 67 decibels. It has only one position. However, the Ryobi has 3 states. We've got the standby state, in which the machine refrigerates itself. You can see that above. Then, when you are running the machine in normal mode, it goes up to about 60 decibels. And finally, with turbo mode, that delivers more power, runs up to 62 decibels. So you can see that it's quieter than the Karcher. Right. And that's it for the noise test. And for the flow, I will be measuring the weight of these bottles. and depending on the weight we will discover in gallons or in liters how much or which is the flow of all machines. Finally, we will be also doing a foam test with this foam cannon, in which for sure you will be needing a 1.1 millimeters orifice nozzle. Otherwise, with this little machine you won't produce enough foam. And just for only for showing, this is a 5.0 battery from Karcher, and this is a 5.0 battery from Ryobi. Both of them are 36 volts, and just for the fun, as I said, we will be testing this WORX HydroJet, which is a 20 volt machine. We will see that. Okay, so I've described all on the table, the hose, the machine. Let's start running the test. So this is the way to connect a gauge in the inlet of the gun, and we can test the Ryobi in the normal mode and in the turbo mode with the default 40-degree nozzle here. We'll check it out now. So about 920 psi. (1,250 psi). So in order to connect here the gauge, this is the adapter you need for a Karcher. So you plug it here, and now we connect here the gauge, and in the other way we connect the hose to this adapter from Karcher to M22. This is what we get. Aha! Here's the Karcher trick. It only delivers 450 psi with the standard lamps. And with the turbo nozzle, let's see, about 960 psi. You can tell that. So now this is the moment of truth. We've got a 4.0 nozzle, which it will be for a Karcher K7, just to show you. Then we're going down. This is the Mosmatic gun. This is the gauge, and I've got an MTM 50 feet hose. So now we are testing in the same condition both the Karcher and the Ryobi. Let's start with the Ryobi. As you can tell, 250 psi are around that. So we need to reduce the nozzle. So as you can tell, 4.0 is too big, the size is too big, so we are jumping directly to 3.0, and I think we'll be between 3.0 and 2.5 to get around 1000 psi, which is the size, I mean the measure we want, because 2.0 will be too small. No, 3.0 is not enough with the normal mode. Yeah, now we are going to test 3.0 with the turbo mode or boost mode. And it gives 800 psi. So we are going down to 2.5. I think 2.5 will be the perfect nozzle for this Ryobi machine. Now we've got it, man. 850 psi, just where we want it. And now if we do turbo mode, let's see what it gets. (1200 psi). So the perfect size is 2.5. Just for fun, we are testing 2.0 now. So the 2.0 orifice nozzle is too small. We don't want that much pressure for your paint. Now we are about to test the Karcher with the 3.0 nozzle and the MTM hose. Let's go. (650 psi). Now we are about to select 2.5. A 1000 psi. So for the Karcher, the same as the Ryobi, 2.5. In order to measure the pressure that the WORX delivers, we need to do it at the outside of the gun. We need to replace the standard hose, the standard nozzle, sorry, and put all this, which is all these connectors. I will explain later in the video, to put a gauge here. Now, when the gauge is done, we put again the nozzle there, and we are about to know how much it does with the 40-degree nozzle. 260 psi. So 260 psi, just for the rinse. Nothing, almost nothing. And with the 0-degree nozzle, 260. So we don't get 325 psi. Maybe we've got some lofts here, but we are not close to 300 psi. And if we full the battery, almost 20 bar, 280 psi. Alright, so for the WORX HydroJet, all we need is a 2.0 40-degree nozzle. So we will get in about 280 psi. Now we move on onto the flow measurement here. So we are about to weight every single bottle here, so we can test how much water was inside. From the water I pass into kilos, from the kilos I pass it into liters, and then from the liters to gallons per minute. All those bottles were being fully during 1 minute time. For example, an empty bottle weighs, you can tell there, 112 grams, right? So we are going to measure now. We start with the Ryobi OEM specs. That was about 1000 psi, and if we measure the bottle, come on, you see, so it's 4 kilos, 451 grams. So 4 kilos 45 grams minus 112, and that divided by 3.785, which in gallons per minute was 1 gallon 146 per minute, right? So next is the Ryobi with the OEM specs still, but this time with the turbo option or the boost option. So this was almost 1400 psi, and we get a lot. We've got 4 kilos 976 grams. So that 4 kilos 976 minus 112 grams, and that divided by 3.785. So we got here 1 gallon 28.5 per minute, 1.285 gallons per minute, and this was almost 1500 psi, right, with the specs one, with the OEM specs. Now we jump into the Karcher. We've got two options here. Remember, we've got the OEM and the normal lands. This was a trick from the Karcher. In order to get more flow, they reduced the PSI to 450, and then next we will do the rotary. Okay, so the normal lands, we weigh that. Come on. Yeah. 5.5 kilos 15 grams minus 112 grams divided by 3.785, so we get that 1.295 gallons per minute, 1.295 gallons per minute with the Karcher normal lands, right? Remember, for 450 psi only. Now we jump into 1000 psi with the rotary, and because of that we go down to 4 kilos 812 grams, 4 kilos 812 grams minus 112 grams, 4.7 kilos divided by 3.785, so that's 1.24 gallons per minute. You see, more pressure, less flow. Now we compare, now these were the OEM specs. Now we compare apples with apples, having the MTM gun here with the gauge and the 50 foot or 50 meter hose by MTM. It's the HydroJet. Now, with that being said, we got 3 bottles left. So the Ryobi with a 2.5 nozzle, it gave 850 psi, and that's 4 kilos 462 grams. 4 kilos 462 grams minus 112 grams divided by 3.785, it gets 1.15 gallons per minute, 1.15 gallons per minute, which is not bad for a 850 psi. However, remember the Ryobi with a 2.5 nozzle and the boost or turbo mode, click in the bottom, same test. Okay, we jump up to, let's see, 5 kilos 119 grams. So 5 kilos 1991 minus 112 divided by 3.78, so that's 1 gallon 1.32 gallons per minute. And remember, that was at 1200 psi, which is a lot. Okay, we will get less runtime, as you can tell. That is the winner now. Now the Karcher, we've got only one position, so 2.5 nozzle, okay, MTM gun, MTM HydroJet hose, and we get 4 kilos 720 grams, right? So 4.720 minus 112 grams divided by 3.785, we get 1.217 gallons per minute, so 1.217 gallons per minute, right? Which is quite well for such a little machine. So we can compare those three are the ones that we are most interested in. I will build the table later on. And just for fun, remember the HydroJet we gave about 260 psi, 280 psi for a minute. It gave 1 kilo 980 grams. So 1 kilo 980 minus 112 grams divided by 3.785. Okay, so it's less than 1 gallon per minute. It's exactly 0.499 gallons per minute. So here's the situation. We've got two MTM PF22 cannons here, and this is the lens from the Ryobi. So depending on the quick connectors here, for example, this is a 1/4 of an inch male quick connect. This is from Mosmatic. As you can tell here, it works with the standard lens from Ryobi. If you use the MTM one or a Chinese one, I'm not quite sure that it's going to fit here. So this means that with this connector you can use the standard lens and you can buy only the MTM Canyon from Obsessed Garage, like that, right? However, if you want to use the standard gun from Karcher, you need to buy the Canyon with this adapter from Karcher, and it works that way. So this is the adapter in question. So whether you buy the Canyon with this adapter for a Karcher, right, or you want a quick connector, a standard quick connector, in this case I'm going to make the test with the Mosmatic gun with a gauge here and a 50 feet Cobra Jet hose by MTM. First I'm going to connect the Mosmatic gun to the Ryobi. I'm going to plug here the Canyon and we will see what we get. Let's go. .900 psi and good foam. However, if we go to the machine and we put the boost mode, we get 1250 psi and even better foam. Okay, now the same test, but with the Karcher. I already plugged the MTM to the Karcher there. We take the Canyon, okay, we plug it in, like that, and we test it. How much PSI does it get? Remember, one position only, 1100 PSI. Rich foam there. Enough, 1.1 orifice nozzle, correct? One last test here, just to show you, with the WORX HydroJet, we can connect the MTM Canyon here. Okay, we take it out the nozzle, we connect here the Canyon, there you are, right? Let's see what happens. As you can tell, it doesn't work, okay? So you don't get enough flow and neither pressure, so you must use the standard Canyon with the WORX. But just it was a funny test there, a silly test one. Alright, so all this work that I've done today was about to know which system we need for the Karcher and which system we need for the Ryobi. In the end, we discovered that both of these little machines, cordless pressure cleaner, both use a 2.5, like this one, a 2.5 nozzle, right? And if you want rich foam, you need a 1.1 millimeter orifice nozzle in the MTM foam canyons. I recommend, and for me it would be mandatory, I recommend to buy in the Obsessed Garage store the Mosmatic plug, not the MTM one, because the MTM one is not compatible with the Ryobi's lamps. You must use the Mosmatic ones. And if you go for the Karcher, you can either connect the Karcher gun to this adapter for the MTM Canyon, or you can upgrade to a Mosmatic gun with quick connects and everything. You can buy everything in the Obsessed Garage store. As well, I strongly recommend a 50-foot Cobra Jet hose, whether it is the green one or the blue one. I think the blue one is even better. So in the end, my purpose will be to pass all this information to the Obsessed Garage team, so they can update their data with the Karcher K2 battery and the Ryobi Cordless 36-volt pressure washer. As well, if they want, just for the fun, we work out how the WORX HydroJet works, how much pressure does it deliver, and we discovered that the Canon are not valid for this kind of little machines. Okay, so in my next video I will be talking about how to upgrade these machines. I will show you all the guns that I've got, all the hoses that I've got, especially how the quick connect works, and I've got a lot of information to deliver you guys about the nozzles and the quick connects, especially with the orifice for the lamps. We will be talking about lenses too. So I suggest you to subscribe, follow this channel, because we will continue working on pressure washing. Thank you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.